Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I know I'm here to talk about Gotham, and I'm wearing a Superman shirt, but I was just talking about Supergirl, but I also want to talk about Gotham. Not just Gotham, but at the end of this review, I will also give my thoughts on the new Power Rangers teaser trailer, because people have been asking my thoughts and opinions, so I will do that. But first, let's talk about Gotham. Season 3, Episode 4, entitled Mad City, New Day Rising. I guess I didn't hate this episode because I stopped caring. I really did. I stopped caring, I stopped trying, I stopped hoping that this show would be better, that this show would actually do things that they probably should be doing with their characters. Like the Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch, he is what he is. I ranted and raved about what they're doing with this character last episode, so I won't do that again. But I will talk about how we see his sister, Alice, once again. And there's a moment later on where, because she's now in police custody, and they're talking to her, Gordon specifically is talking to her about what Jervis did to her. Growing up as kids. Now it sounds stupid because it's like, wait, so he's had this mind control ability since they were fucking kids, really? But we don't want to talk about how logically dumb all of that is. It's okay if you people are more willing to go along with the changes for these characters. Hell, I'm okay with changing a character if it makes sense, or if it's more interesting than what we already have, or if it's just as interesting as what we already have. But when I hear stuff like that he just had this mind control ability since he was a kid, I'm sorry, that sounds stupid. That sounds like horrible, lazy writing. And even just the whole idea of the way how he's hypnotizing people is his watch. It's just like, we're not even really trying to be interesting. I don't know. I'd much rather him have some type of technology that he can place in the back of your head or so, and like it just instantly mind controls you, because hypnotism, it's like, hypnotism doesn't work like this. It just doesn't. Are they trying to say that he has some superpower, that's how he's doing this? Oh well, no use of trying to make sense of it. They alluded to the fact that Alice, his sister, that he mind controlled her, and there might have been some incestual stuff going on between them. Gross. Gross. I guess they want to make this character even more sick and twisted than he ever was before in the comics, and it's like, okay, I didn't need that. I didn't need it to be some incestual thing where he's in love with his sister, and that, I mean, who knows what he's made her do. Like, that's levels of creepiness that I don't even think we need to really go. Gordon still has the hypnosis in his head, and he can't shake it. One scene, creepy scene, where he's almost steps in front of a truck, almost kills himself. He goes to Barbara, because I swear this show doesn't know what the hell it's doing with Barbara. They really don't. Gordon's trying to get information out of her, and she's just being wacky and goofy, and I'm like, don't even put this character, don't even put her in this episode. Penguin is still running for mayor, and I love all of this. This is the only watchable thing of this season. Penguin running for mayor. Edward Nygma doesn't trust Butch. And at first, I didn't know what was going on. Like, I didn't know if Butch was doing things behind Penguin's back and Nygma was going to try to figure it out. But no, we find out that Butch is actually paying off head officials to try to further the election for Penguin, trying to make sure that he wins. And Nygma didn't like this. Nygma was against this. He wanted Oswald to do this on his own, to win the election on his own. I will get to the conclusion of that plot later. I loved it. Selina Kyle, still with evil Bruce Wayne clone. They want to rob a bar, so she goes in there. She cleverly had these guys get into a fight and had management go out there so that she can go into their room and steal money. But a little sloppy, though, because it's not long before they come back and realize what she's doing. They tie her up. They're going to cut her fingers off. And then evil clone Bruce Wayne shows up and beats all of their asses because he's a super-powered freak, I guess. And you know what? Maybe it took longer than I wanted, but Selina does figure out that this isn't really Bruce Wayne. Finally, at least we make her seem a little bit as smart as she should be. So I did like that, but I did not like the fact that clone Bruce Wayne tells her about everything, Indian Hill and the experiments and how he's not even a real person technically. And then he kisses her, and she didn't freak out. I mean, who knows? When Bruce and Alfred find the clone Bruce Wayne on the roof, we don't see Selina, so I guess we don't really know what her reaction was to the kiss. I just wanted more of her being like, ew, gross, get away from me. I don't know you, dude. You're not even real. You're a clone. Weird, but she didn't even do that, so there's that. Now, when Bruce and Alfred find him, he jumps off the roof and says, see you later, or whatever, and they let him go. I just thought, I knew because he didn't commit suicide, which I was hoping he would do. I hoped they would look over and that he would have been splattered on the ground, but he wasn't. He was taking off, and Alfred said, oh, well, he'll never come back to Gotham again, sir. And I thought, no, bullshit, he'll be back. He'll unfortunately be back. This whole plot of evil clone Bruce Wayne is dumb, but it got even dumber when the Court of Owls people, the woman in charge, she just so happens to be driving around in her limo, finds him, takes him, and she's going to do something with him. Great. We're not done. We're not done with this evil clone Bruce Wayne storyline. I can't wait. So we see Mad Hatter and these guys that he's mind-controlled, a bunch of masked wrestlers. Could you get any more random than that? They break into GCPD because that hasn't been done at least 5 times in 3 seasons now. Kind of pathetic, GCPD, don't you think? They come in there, they raise hell, they steal Alice, of course. Mad Hatter almost gets Gordon to shoot himself, but Michael Chiklis stops him, and Gordon wakes up to find himself under handcuffs, and he talks to Lee, which in a normal situation I wouldn't mind being handcuffed in a room with Leslie Tompkins. But this was, they have to talk about their feelings and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of rolled my eyes when Gordon doesn't tell her that he did go to her house and that he did see her with another guy. So that's why he's a little butthurt. That's why he's a little pissed and not really talking to her like he probably should have. And she's talking about how she was alone and crying, but some random guy was there to be there for him. I was like, I'm sorry. I should care about these characters because I used to care about them, but I don't know. I just don't right now. I don't really care about their relationship, their broken relationship, or what's going to happen with them. I just don't care. Now, Mad Hatter has kidnapped his sister, and I'll admit it was creepy when he had the whole tea table set up and he has her dressed up like Alice and she's against her will. Like, you can't help but feel bad for this girl. You can't. And then Gordon and Bullock show up because Bullock got the masked wrestler to tell him to give up the location by threatening to burn his wrestling mask. Really? Wow, interrogation methods 101 from Bullock. And so they get there, and I did like the moment when Gordon was able to break the spell, showing that he can overcome Mad Hatter and whatnot. That was a cool moment. And then, though, Alice dies. She falls out the window and impales herself, and I was like, what the fuck? So not only did they fail to save her, this poor woman, but I always hate in one of these shows, one of these situations where you have this victim who has been through hell, and we just established in this episode how much of a horrible childhood she had, how horrible Jervis Tetch was to her, and how she didn't deserve really anything that happened to her, and then she dies. Now, you could argue that them changing Alice to be his sister and her having a tragic death, that could lead to somewhere down the line when there is a Batman that the real Mad Hatter, that he'll go off and he'll be so deranged and crazy now that his sister's dead. He'll go out like he's supposed to, like Mad Hatter's supposed to, and just pick a girl and say, you're Alice now. No, you're Alice. You will be Alice. And he'll go after her. You could do that. You could. And if you want to have that make up for everything that I was complaining about before, I still think the way how he hypnotizes people with his watch is stupid. I do. Oh well. Like I said, I was wondering why Nigma was going about all of this with Cobblepot, especially the way how he broke him out. Like, you would think he would just go along with it, let him win the way he wants. Why care so much? But when he proved his point, when he took back all of the money that Butch was bribing the officials with, and that you saw that Cobblepot actually still won the election fair, then I got it. Then I said, genius. That was great. He believed in him. And now Penguin is the mayor. I love it. And Butch is a little pissed off, but Nigma becomes his right-hand man, like his running mate. Like, I love all of that. I do. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with them. It's the best part of the episode. Now, one of the last shots, we see Michael Chiklis at the crime scene wandering around like a dope. He looks up at some blood dripping down, and just like that scene in 28 Days Later where the father looks up at the crow picking at the zombie and the blood goes into his eyes and he gets infected. Well, that happens with Michael Chiklis, so he's infected with, was that Alice's blood? That or whose blood was that was contaminated and now it turned him into... Who cares? Honestly, this show is going so downhill. If you're enjoying it, cool, fine, awesome. But I'm just watching it just to see how far down it goes, down the rabbit hole. At least Penguin is the mayor. At least there's that. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Hopefully, you guys have been waiting for. Go, go, Power Rangers! Yes, the teaser trailer came out. And honestly, I wasn't gonna make a video. Like, if I made a separate video, it would be like a minute long because I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I did kind of sort of grow up with the Power Rangers, at least the original series from 93 to 96. I did watch that as a kid. I remember coming home from school, and when I say from school, I mean like third or fourth grade. I was pretty freaking young when that show was out, but I did love it then. It wasn't until a few years ago where I saw some like YouTube clips or maybe saw something on TV of the show and thought, wow, this is so cheesy and so lame and so just, why did I like this? That I grew up. I moved away from the Power Rangers. I didn't really care about them for a while. And so hearing about them bringing it back honestly meant nothing to me. Watching this trailer, it is very serious. It's nothing like what I remember from the 90s show and how goofy they were. Although I have to admit, I did get a kick out of every time when they were like, you know, it's morphin' time, and they would all do their moves and put the suits on. Like, okay, there's a little part of my childhood that remembers all of that. There's a little part of my childhood that remembers Kimberly being like my very first or second crush ever. So obviously this movie won't have that type of tone at all. And it makes sense. You have to go a little bit more serious tone. You do. You can't do that. You can't recreate that cheesiness. You can't. And who knows if you tried to recreate it, if it would even work for today's time. So I get the serious tone. My thing is where the teaser shows their origin. It's going to be a very origin-heavy movie, which I'm fine with. It reminds me so much of Chronicle. It screams Chronicle. Just them, like almost like a cave and finding it and breaking it apart, and that's where they get their powers. Like exactly the same as Chronicle. You get these teenagers who feel like outcasts who are going to come together and be best friends because they have these powers. Okay, again, Chronicle, and it's like, what's the complaint? Chronicle was great. Yes, it was great, but if this movie can't be better than that or just as good as Chronicle, it's just going to feel like a cheap imitation of it. Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa, I'm not really one way or the other. Some people are pissed. I'm more upset about the whitewashing aspect of it. I know the original costume was silly and stuff, but if you're going to change it, why do you have to cast a white actress? I love Elizabeth Banks. I do. I think she's a great actress, but it's just, that bothers me more than anything else. But fine. I would say the best part of this teaser was the tease of the suits. The very end where you see them and they don't say it's morphin' time. They don't say that. But when the suits are coming on and you see the Zac Efron lookalike dude who, like, the red suits appearing and you see just, like, a smidget of it to see that, oh, cool, it's the suit. You don't see it full on. Obviously, a teaser is supposed to make you want to see it, and I do want to see what it's going to look like, if it's going to look cool, if the effects are going to look cool. Maybe the next trailer will show it and just give it away, but I will say that there are aspects of this teaser that I think are cool. There are aspects of this trailer that make me go like, wow, okay, this movie won't suck like I initially thought it might. But I'm also not blown away. I'm also not like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever, like I'm sure some people are thinking. I'm just like, okay, we'll see. We'll wait to see more for this Power Rangers trailer. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the Power Rangers trailer? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you kind of like me where it's like, okay, not as bad as you thought it was going to be? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!